Andy Marcotte at Perfect Video Conferencing. You can reach me at 516-282-2812. And if you've got a customer care issue, particularly around Lifesize, which is the point of today's meeting, reach out to us at support@perfectvc.com. Perfectvc.com is a great place to kind of look at what we do, what our superpowers are, and why we're here to help. Ultimately, the purpose of this video is and here's the agenda, is a quick review of a support event that's coming up on the Lifesize 220 systems, and mainly the audience for this is our existing customer base and under a dozen customers who may have this triggered event. But at the end of April, Lifesize will be upgrading to an exciting new bridge platform, which will make some of their legacy gear, their older devices, not pair directly to cloud. And so the key things for those of you that are customers to remember is the bridge ID and the virtual meeting number. So how to dial the bridge and the virtual ID. And what we're going to go through in this recording is how you can use the old systems if you haven't chosen an upgrade path or you're not sure what to do, because this event is happening at the end of April and it will impact you. If you're not a Perfect Video Conferencing customer and you're in a world of hurt, give us a call. We'll help you get to the right Lifesize resource, or you'll choose us as a reseller, or we'll learn who your reseller is and tickle them a little for you. There's a great reseller community, and you might not be a good fit for us, or your reseller may not know this is going on, and we can help them. So we are here to be a resource. So ultimately, this is a fairly big event for users, and the workflow for how they use the 220 systems can be impacted. And we have customers that are treating it either as a big event or no event at all. And that's the point of this next piece. So as a big event, they may have all of the Lifesize cloud meeting IDs populated in a directory. And the beauty of an integrated platform is that you can just go to a touch screen or a remote control, choose your meeting ID, click on it in your calendar, and the meeting just launches. You don't think of where to dial or what the meeting ID is, the sort of old school video conferencing. But today, many of you users are actually requested to call into audio bridges from partners or bridges of your own. And so they know a phone number and they know a meeting ID. So while this is a fairly significant event, it's not a huge workflow. So our customers are divided into two categories. Do something now because they want the seamless one-touch calling, or do something later and train their end users. The point of this recording is to address both. So the next piece that I want to do is just kind of show you what we have in the room, and then how I'll navigate through that so you can learn the steps that you may need to take. It's also covered in the email that you're seeing on screen. I've lowered the resolution a little bit too, because I don't want sort of all of that to be out on the internet. But ultimately, for those of you that are customers, you're going to get a copy of this email. So again, customers are choosing to upgrade. That means they're moving the 220s to the Icon platform. If you're a customer of ours, we've already talked to you about it. If you're someone else's customer, talk to them or talk to us. There is a pathway forward for you. If you choose to do nothing, come Friday afternoon, Monday, and next week, you may need to talk to Lifesize, and they are at 877 Lifesize. Just type that out, skip the E on the end, Lifesiz, 877 Lifesize. You'll get a tech. They can help you through getting your units back online, or to a salesperson to help you upgrade. Or again, you can email us at support@perfectvc.com. So, big event or do nothing. Those are choices 1 and 2. Choices number 3 is the next piece, to be proactive about it. And that's ultimately what we're hoping you get out of this. The units should be proactively disconnected from Lifesize Cloud. You can press the red button on the back and hit the reset for 10 seconds until it flashes on, off, and then rapid blue. Again, it's about 10 seconds, and then you'll factory wipe the box. You can also use a command line if you don't want to lose any custom programming you've done, and that's what most of our customers are going to do. They're going to SSH into the device and send a disconnect from cloud command. That's going to, again, happen from Lifesize, but you doing it does it proactively. And then you might want to program an auto attendant. And then, of course, the final step is to test. So again, disconnect from cloud, reset the unit, send a command line, program an auto attendant, and that, again, is just the Lifesize bridge or the BlueJeans bridge or the Zoom bridge. These units can call anything, H323 or SIP, but you're a Lifesize Cloud customer, so you'll call the Lifesize bridge, And then your users will know a meeting ID. So they have a dial string that they can put in or get the auto attendant and enter their meeting ID. So a couple of things they need to know. They need to know a little bit about the remote. So I'm going to go ahead and zoom in on that so you can get where I'm coming from on this. Yeah, there's the room and the setup that we're going to do. I'm going to show the on-screen and then show a couple of phones. And then with the remote control, there are some colored buttons that you'll want to attend to, and those correlate to the menu on the screen. So if you only have a mic pod and not one of the touchscreen phones, the remote control becomes pretty critical. If you have one of the touchscreen phones, I'm going to walk over there in a second and show you how it's much easier to do this all from the phone. But the remote doesn't suck. It still works. Test your batteries to make sure it does still work, and then key your users into remembering that the on-screen menu for Lifesize follows these color codes. So in the days of really complicated remotes, Lifesize figured that out and did some color coding. Now their remotes are much simpler, like everyone else's, or it's a touchscreen phone, so these basically have been pitched in the garbage. So I just press one of the buttons on that. There's our blinds. You don't need to see those. Let's come back to the remote. So again, key things for them to remember: how to use the remote, how to use the phone, where to dial into Lifesize, and what their virtual meeting ID number is. And they'll want to know how to navigate this a little. Now, from an IT perspective, you can pre-program the auto attendant, so then all they have to do is press a redial on the home screen. And again, I am going to show that live myself. All right. Next step, I'm going to head over to the lab. Let me just explain again what we have over there. I've got an Icon 700 pointed down at some phones, and then I'll use that Icon 700 to point over to the system that I'm currently talking on, and then two phones on the desk for you to see a connected cloud experience and then a disconnected cloud experience. All right. Next up, from a cloud perspective, your 220s today function like this. Your end users are typically, again, using the remote and the on-screen menu, or they're going in and hitting call. And from, sorry, hit my back button. Never mind the screen there. It's a broken phone we're using. This as a demo. But from the call button, there are various options. And then because you're a cloud customer, most of your end users are just finding the meeting that they belong to and then dialing in. And they're done. It's this function that will go away once the cloud pairing is disconnected on these older 220 systems. I'm going to let that connect. And now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to end. That auto attendant you just heard, that joining the meeting, that's the experience you're going to want to get. And then you can actually already do that on a connected unit. So if today you wanted to go in and call the Lifesize auto attendant, you can go to the keypad, look for the characters, and then just type in Lifesize Cloud. And you have to get your fat fingers right. And it is a .com. And I have a typo. So what I'm doing here is demonstrating why it's better to do this ahead of time so your end users don't have to henpeck at it like I just did. And then I hit call. So this goes out, finds the IP address, dials Lifesize Cloud, and then Emily says hello.
Welcome to Lifesize.
And then you need your virtual meeting ID.
Enter the extension of the person you want to call or the meeting you want to join, and press the pound or hash key.
So again, that's on a connected unit. It's going to work the same way on the next one over, but the other keystrokes I want to show you is that, yeah, if you're given an IP address from one of the other many bridges out there, that's the benefit of having chosen Lifesize. These things call anything. So I could dial in bluejeans.net or Zoom CRC, and I can call into those platforms with these great endpoints. They're not dead to your use. If you want to call Lifesize Cloud, you just use their IP address, and there's a There's a ton of those out on the internet, and if you don't know what they are, we can get you one. This happens to be a San Jose node, which is a little closer to me, so I'm going to call into that one. This is old school video conferencing, just again knowing the IP address and calling it. Again, connected device, dialing in. Emily's going to say hello. I didn't actually look up the IP addresses, so I may have actually pulled the wrong one. All right, so I'll put a correct IP address in the email. Don't use that one because obviously it didn't pick up. Yeah, thank you. So fine, Randy has a bad IP address. I just went off an old list. They do change because data centers change all the time. All right, so that's the connected device. Next up is the disconnected device experience. So here's that unit. I've already done a factory reset on it. And so notice you're not getting any of the Lifesize cloud information up at the top of the system. All right. So there's just an IP address to manage the device. So I can do the same thing. I can go and call in Lifesize Cloud. I'll type a little faster this time. Now, in doing so, I'm making some assumptions that we haven't changed IP addresses on the unit, or as you see in the email, I'm suggesting that maybe you put your IP address back in there. We're not breaking any firewall rules. Clearly, I can't type and talk at the same time because I mistyped Lifesize Cloud again. And this is really what you want to do ahead of time for your end users so they don't have to deal with what I've done. So I've called in, or I'm going to call now. It's going to reach out to the internet. Emily's going to say hello.
Welcome to Lifesize.
Lifesize, thank you, Emily.
Extension of the person you want to call.
All right, I'm not going to, I can enter a meeting ID, so here's a different meeting ID. Just like any auto attendant out there in the universe. So now I've joined that meeting ID. So thank you, Emily. We have joined that meeting. So what I can do now is because I have that call in my recents, I can save that. So there is a Lifesize demo that's a default and Lifesize virtual operator, which is all they need to know. And the user just can press that. So it stays in the directory. It's available to them. So all of your units could be reset. You could dial lifesizecloud.com, and then all you have to tell your end users is remember your meeting ID and call Lifesize Cloud. So yes, it's a big event in the grand scheme of things, but it's not breaking video conferencing in your organization. Those are the key points to remember, but I did also want to talk about the on-screen menu because it's worth noting that this is a slightly different experience because some of you all don't have this remote. You just have the mic puck. So in the event, I'm just going to go to the home screen here. In the event you don't have a touchscreen phone with the Lifesize system, the navigation is just using the remote up, down, left, right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the video call and enter. I'm going to clear out what's in there. Yours will be reset so you won't have anything. And then down here on the bottom left, there's a correlation to the blue button on the remote, and that's for a keyboard. I'm going to type in Lifesize Cloud. A little easier on this than it is obviously on the touch screen. And I can do this by IP address. And it is lifesizecloud.com. Okay, I'm done that. I back out, press the OK button, and now I can make this call. Right down here in the bottom it says place this call. This system is actually already connected to a call, so I'm not going to make the call. The benefit, though, of doing that, and I'll show you the next, actually I can call it and then hang up. So call The benefit of that is you can, I didn't do that because I didn't want to break the recording. The benefit of this is that on this menu, you now have a correlation of entry options. And you can go in, imagine we've cleared this out because we've done a factory reset. You can go in, press that entry option, and lock that into the auto attendant. So your end users come in, and all they're going to see is the life-size bridge. And then alternatively, you can hit save, and you can put that in the directory. So you'll make a local directory on each of the devices. So if you've got 10 virtual meeting rooms that are used all the time by your users, you could pre-dial all 10 of those virtual meeting IDs, and they'll be in the directory just like they are by being connected to cloud. Okay, so in a nutshell, pan over here. All right, that's too much of me, so I'm going to move that image around a little bit. Stand by. So what we wanted to do is thank you for your interest in your business. Apologize if there's any event that gets created in your environment, but just to remind you that while it's disconnecting from cloud, it's not being broken. It will be a different user experience, and that's where the break, in our opinion, comes in. So you want to prep ahead. You can do so again by knowing the dial string, the IP address, or the lifesizecloud.com. You can save that to the directory, and then your end users can just use the virtual meeting ID that they're familiar with. That would be in their invite. So none of that workflow has to change, and you can still make and take great video calls. What you're losing without cloud, Lifesize Cloud pairing is the auto escalation between units, the direct dialing between units. So what you want to do is make sure that everyone understands they need a bridge and a virtual meeting ID. You can have as many meetings as you want. And thank you for your time, your patience with this. Call on us if you need any help.